and loser goes home, I think a lot of teams would tend to go towards an anti-mage. It's a safe strat.
Yeah, definitely. And we haven't even mentioned Funnick, but he's also a beast under pressure, and he's been quite impressive. At least I was very impressed by his blue performances. Not necessarily at TI, but in all the recent matches he played. So it's a hero not to be forgotten versus Na'Vi. They do like to play that Brood Mother a lot.
Yeah, well, they banned him.
Alright, they banned it themselves. Yeah, I mean,
I think the Earthshaker pick is kind of like, they've grabbed the Earthshaker, this is a potential pick. But
yeah, they potentially gave up on it already.
I mean, Vici doesn't really run Earthshaker other than support side of it.
Yeah, we haven't seen ISIS on Earthshaker.
So it pretty much means like they're still looking for the offlane hero for Vici Gaming. So like the Brood is something you don't want to get surprised by. So.
The noises for when heroes get banned are really loud in our ear, by the way.
Yeah.
Like when we cut to the draft, I'm generally terrified when they ban Ledge. It's like, I'm like, what did I do? Is Paul angry? No. Ledge.
Seb was trying to call the heroes by their grunts. I was like, that's very ambitious.
Yeah, we should try and do that.
And it was a Bloodseeker instead of an axe, but I mean, you know, it was quite close. And when they say Earthshaker, I can guess.
Yeah, that's a relatively easy one.
So there's still like the Radiant Shadowfiend here open for Na'Vi. They can still go for that if they want to. I mean,
anti-mage.
Yeah,
there you go. Good call.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's an anti-mage for Heroes, which is, I think, fair enough in this type of game as well. When you play best of one, usually you want to play a bit more defensive. You don't want to go for the most risky plays. And playing versus anti-mage kind of forces you to actually force the issue. And
yeah. It's like that ultimate insurance you've got. It's like we've always got the anti-mage to fall back on.
Yeah, anti-mage Magnus is even more.
Yeah, we might see a Magnus. Yeah. Then this Magnus is very good.
It's a little bit scary of a matchup versus Queen of Pain, but I think they ran anti-mage plus PA, except PA just doesn't really cut it super late because I don't think Blur is as strong as having Blink and Mana Shield, but it didn't work out for them, and it looked like it was because of the PA pick, so...
Now Vici Gaming has to adapt a bit, and this is when they're gonna start, you know, giving a direction to their draft and like the game they wanna.
So do you think at this stage with Quap and Earthshaker that they say, okay, well we'll pick our own ultra late game insurance, or do we say screw it, let's just?
There's not that many good options. Like Phantom Lancer is, I think, one of the late gamers that people tend to, but it's actually very poor versus anti-mage because he does very well against illusion-based heroes. Aside from that, I mean, there's not that many hard late game carries that can actually deal with the anti-mage, especially with a Magnus. But there's a real big in the pool now.
Interesting, that's a Lina pick, but I mean, it could be a support or a mid. We've seen Dandy on Lina like many times, but it could also be a support. I mean, this draft is. I don't know if it was LGD drafting a Na'Vi lineup or Na'Vi now drafting an LGD lineup. I think it's like more likely the second option, but still, this is like exactly what LGD has been drafting the whole. I mean, whenever they could, right?
Yeah.
With Lina Dazzle support, Tusk offlane, anti-mage carry, and looking for a mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, Lina still can go mid lane in the sense that it's really good versus Quap. You have a really good matchup, and if your cores are Tusk and Lina, you have two cores that make a lot of space, and there's going to be a lot of room for anti-mage to actually farm the whole map.
Definitely. It is, though, a Quap with a Shaker backup, most likely, as we said, since we're not expecting a Shaker offlane, so it does put quite a lot of pressure on the opposite mid laner, but Lina is definitely one of the heroes that can deal with that.
Yeah, she can definitely hold her own against that, like going back to clear stacks and whatnot.
Shadowfiend.
And that's an SF pick, so it's going to be a co-op safe lane. This is a very secret lineup. In this team secret sense. Yeah.
They have very strong like early to mid game like lineup, very strong at team fighting, and anti-mage doesn't want to fight too early. So this kind of lineup could actually make the game really hard, like put a lot of pressure onto the anti-mage and his team, especially against this sort of lineup. So I think I like the approach that Vici are going for right now against the AM.
Yeah, it can be quite scary for Na'Vi, and I don't feel like they have that, you know, super good mana break, mana void target. Yeah, like when you play versus Storm, anti-mage can always, you know, come in the fight, just get an extra, you know, an easy kill on the Storm, get his like killing spree or whatever. Here it's going to be harder to find a target to kill easily with anti-mage.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like Quap and everything, you might...
That's probably the best target he has.
Have to hope she doesn't just blink out and then just stand in there. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Definitely. They don't have the best catch for him though. I mean, Co-op might go for Orchid or might not, but
Yeah.
they don't have the best catch for anti-mage. Like, so their game plan is definitely to pressure as a team. Just go hit the towers and force anti-mage to like come back and fight.
So VG Gaming still looking to go for their last ban here. Looking at Navi's lineup, it's kind of hard to determine whether the Lina is a support or is a core. Like Navi can just rotate their lanes and roles very easily.
Undying ban, so they're predicting a Lina mid.
Yeah,
I would assume.
That's one of the interesting things about Lina is it gives you that chance.
That is
Oh.
There
very
is the wisp.
that is actually something that I think this is the first time Navi have picked up the hero in the event.
They're very good at using Wisp. Soneko is insanely good on the hero, and I think it's a fighting anti-mage. What I see is a fighting anti-mage, and when you think about it, if he maxes mana shield, then he's actually, with the help of Dazzle and Wisp, he can be a terror. Like, if he goes for... Hovos is also known for the Vlad's Vanguard build, into I just go and fight people. I max mana...
That fourth pick with Lina is actually either very smart. Well, it's smart either way because it's either forced them to throw out Undying, or they've actually predicted that they would probably think that they wanted to remove Undying so that they could actually pick the Wisp. So either way, it's a really smart pick in 4.
They went for...
wow.
Alright, that's interesting.
It's gonna be
Pop off.
mid
Yeah.
pop with Earthshaker. Like it's very interesting that in the sense that it's gonna be very good in the lane to pressure the AM.
The lanes are very important, and they're hard to guess for both teams.
They absolutely are. Right, we are almost ready. Players are ready. We're ready. It's going to be a fantastic matchup between Navi and Vici Gaming. It's time to join our commentators. It's the Prince of Denmark and the Vicar of Pixels.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second elimination match of the day. Vici Gaming versus Navi. I think there's a lot of people very excited about this matchup, and I certainly are soon, especially as we're going to be able to see how pulls off the Luna.
Yeah, there's a couple of really interesting picks in this matchup. I don't think anyone expected the IO last pick. I don't think anyone expected the Luna. You saw the panel, they thought it was a safe lane Queen of Pain. That the last pick would go to Ice Ice Ice. So both teams with a little bit of a mind game here in the draft. I think Matt brings up a very good point. How the lanes get put could have a much bigger impact on this game than other games we've seen today, I think. The Luna is a very risky carry in lane because she's a glass cannon, right? She enables the other heroes in the lane to do a lot of damage because of Lunar Blessing, but at the same time, if she gets open on, could be gone in the blink of an eye. So Navi definitely have heroes that can put on the aggression. So very curious to see how this laning stage works out. That said, I personally favor Vici's draft quite a bit here. I think the issue for Navi is they don't have a natural combination with the IO. Maybe they can make it work very well with Tusk. As Matt pointed out, if they go for a fighting anti-mage, that's like an all-in play. If that doesn't work very early on, they're going to get super out-carried by a Luna and Shadowfiend if the anti-mage doesn't go battle
Look at
carry,
this.
right?
Level 1 smoke. They've got the Tusk. He's incredibly strong. He's just snowballed. Volts out. How? If the fish are coming out onto 3, how's going to be fine for the time being? And Funny, the Volts and Soneko turn their attention towards Super. Funny here looking for the body block. He's going to be able to find it here. Can they chase this one down? It doesn't look like they can. And even though Navi get a nice wrap around there with the smoke gang, nothing to come of it. And maybe VG can try and turn this one around. Sneko's hanging about. Will be able to tether himself back over.
Telekinesis an 8.
Funny
They do
should
have
be
a
fine.
fissure.
He's got a snowball. I mean,
He's screwed.
he's stuck. He's stuck. He's got a snowball, but it's not going to save him. It's going to go back in, but I don't think he gets himself out of this one. Funny, the heal in fact from Archdale, but no, telekinesis. He gets slammed down, and it's going to be Vici finding the first blood there against the Tusk.
Very
And
least
on
for
Ice
Navi-
Ice Ice as well.
At the very least for Navi, they do get one of the runes. If you lose a level 1 fight, often you will lose both runes, but Soneko managed to grab the top rune on the way out, secures him his bottle. It's very, very crucial for Navi as they get off to... I don't want to say this is a bad start. It's not that horrible for them, but Ice 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 getting the first blood on his offlane Queen of Pain will give him more of a chance at fighting the anti-mage. And as it looks for Navi so far, they're looking to play a little bit of a mid-wisp here, maybe stacking for Dendi and maybe even pulling the mid lane to try to limit Super's impact on the game. It's a little bit
Dendi might need some help. I mean, yeah, we've got the back of Snake, and as you said, the early bottle is going to be very nice in lane here for Dendi. They're trying to outlane Super. Super going to walk into a light strike array there. It's going to be interesting to see how this lane pans out in terms of who is going to come out on top in terms of CS between the SF and the lead.
This should be an unwinnable lane for Vici Gaming if the Wisp and Lina play well together. Shadow Fiend, with only the help of Shaker, should not be able to get a good foothold in this lane. Lina can just play up very aggressively, even if they get a good fissure. Until Shadow Fiend is level 5, realistically, 3 raises will not be able to kill Dendi with a bottle and overcharge. So, looking for Navi to win this lane. And as far as bottom lane goes, should also be a Navi victory here with the 2-on-1 lane. Of course, SSIs did get the first blood, so helps a little bit in that regard. And then top lane should be absolute free farm for Hao. Onyx cannot contest.
What is the plan with Hao here on the Luna? Is it the fact that Vici, they want to get the mech onto the SF, and as soon as that happens, when they group up, they're going to have Hao with that aura, with that extra damage, and with that extra pushing power?
Oh wait, they've managed to actually block up Sameko entirely in mid! At the same time, Dendi might get the kill instead. He will!
He gets it, Dendi, with the kill onto Super. Sameko only just getting himself out.
Yeah.
Na'Vi turning that one around very nicely. Damn, so 1-1 now on the board. Dendi, as you said, he's having a very good time in the mid lane. Look at the CS, 9 for 3 on your Lina compared to the 2 for 0 on an SF, and it's a dead SF as well.
This is a great start for Na'Vi in the mid lane, making up for the first blood going the way of the Queen of Pain. As far as the top lane goes, you asked what I think the Luna should go for, I believe.
Yes, what was the plan here with Hao?
I think just the standard early impact build with treads into optional drums and then Helm of the Dominator to stack camps and just look to farm. Because, to be honest with you, I think if this just becomes a farm game and it just slows down, both teams are getting good farm, Luna can almost keep up with an Anti-Mage's farm if she gets complete free farm. You max the glaives, you stack camps, you farm really fast. In addition to that, you have a Shadow Fiend and a Quap that scale very well. On the side of Na'Vi, if Lina has a good game, can become fearsome, even super late game. But it is very possible that Vici are looking to slow play a bit here.
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be all about this kind of Luna versus...
But okay, this is a little weird, because I just said Hao would go for an early impact build, right? I think treads are more or less mandatory. Treads or phase, I think we've seen Hao play it before. And it's because Luna has like 2 phases. When she gets her ultimate very early, when she's level 7, she's really strong with her spells, and it's all about getting in position and not getting burst down. That's why you get a bit of health. And then generally in the mid game, you slow down a little bit more. You try to focus on farming up the big core items so you can go into the late game. If you go for the full greedy build, where you don't get any sort of stat items, but just go, say, Mask of Madness or Midas, it's pretty risky, because then maybe Na'Vi can just take full advantage of the early game and run you over with a good mid lane performance.
Yeah, so, I mean, Sameko at the moment, he's flying levels here on the IO. He's level 3 already here, soaking up a bit of XP from the mid lane. So we're going to have to relocate our line in fairly good time. Dendi's still in the mid, 20 for 8 against the 9 for 0. The SF is having such a hard time, and he's really going to have to rely on stacks that hopefully the rest of his team are creating for him in the jungle. As we see, Ephemera is starting to work on it with the help of F1, and he needs this to be able to close that gap that Dendi's creating.
Absolutely. This mid lane is going very well for Na'Vi, and that's expected. Said Vici Gaming probably can't win this lane. They were pretty close to getting the kill on the IO, which would have made a world of difference for the Shadow Fiend, but didn't happen. So Na'Vi are continuing their absolute dominance of this lane. Dendi, one of the absolute best mid laners at lane control, just freezing the lane, holding it still, farming on his own cliff. Very naturally gets minute denies in the mid lane for that reason. And you just see Super, he's not even going to raise the wave. How often do you see a Shadow Fiend not wanting to do that in minute 4? He's going to go into the jungle immediately instead. Level 4 trying to raise for the big camp. You generally don't want to do this before level 5, sometimes maybe even 7, because this is very mana inefficient, the damage you get per mana cost. But it feels like he has no other choice.
It's certainly going to be a slow start for Super, but you look at Vici and the fact they have got Ice on this quad, he's going to be able to do a lot across the map. Once he gets that level 6 online, he's going to be able to start making those rotations, and maybe even in situations where
he might actually even be able to threaten art style quite a bit here. He could force over a rotation from Kovost, which will happen. He's going to have to leave the wave for a bit, and we'll let him mana break the move. Surprised Kovost doesn't actually blink for that and try to get a couple of extra right clicks in. He's going to run at him instead. Maybe even force Ice to use that haste rune exactly. That's